Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Well, we are only 1 week into our legislative session. Things are really heating up. We already have a bunch of gun control measures coming before the House Judiciary Committee next week. We've done a video on that already and about what you can do. Well, listen, there are a couple pieces of legislation that have a lot of people's heads spinning. One is the pre-purchasing licensing requirement. The other one is a ban on semi-automatic rifles, or what the state legislature now wants to call unlawful assault weapons. Now, not only does it have all of us in the lawful and responsible gun-owning community pretty worked up over it, but it also has those in law enforcement also worked up, and for the exact same reasons. So today, let's get you all up to speed about something that I don't think you're going to hear a lot of in mainstream media, which is when the sheriffs tell the governor to go pound sand over gun control. Okay, so the issue we are talking about today, and I want to thank one of our loyal viewers, Don S., who was kind enough to email me this letter early this morning, and it is a letter from the Washington State Sheriff's Association, an open letter that describes what their policy and what their positions are as it relates to some of this gun control legislation kicking around in Olympia, specifically two items. Number one, the semi-automatic rifle or unlawful assault weapon ban, and number two, the audacity that the state would require you to get a license, a privilege, a permission before you could then exercise a God-given right, which is purchasing a firearm. I want to give it up to Sheriff Clay Myers of Kittitas County. He is the president of the Washington State Sheriff's Association. Kittitas County, I own a home in Cle Elum. It is a fantastic part of the state and a well-policed community, too, I will also point out. This letter really speaks for itself, and so I'm just going to take it from the top so you can understand what law enforcement, the people who are actually in the trenches fighting crime, preventing crime, the ones that know what causes crime, the ones that know how to prevent crime, this is what they have to say about this year's proposed gun control legislation. Governor Inslee has announced plans for significant new restrictions on the ownership of firearms by law-abiding Washingtonians. We, members of the Washington Sheriff's Association, believe the proposed restrictions will serve to erode constitutionally protected rights without addressing the root causes of violent crime. We are particularly concerned with the proposed so-called assault weapons ban and the permit to purchase laws. The members of the Washington State Sheriff's Association are responsible for two essential tasks. The first is to protect the life and property by enforcing criminal laws. The second is to uphold and protect guaranteed rights. We take both responsibilities very seriously. And kudos to Sheriff Myers, because that at least makes one branch of government that is taking it serious, that being law enforcement. The sheriff goes on to further state, restrictions that shift focus from offenders to law-abiding citizens send the wrong message and erode constitutional guarantees upheld by the United States Supreme Court. Magazine bans, like the one passed by the Washington's legislature last year, have already been ruled unconstitutional by the United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and mandated annual background checks to possess firearms are also under challenge. The governor's proposed legislation is also inconsistent with Article 1, Section 24 of the Washington State Constitution, which mirrors the language of the federal Second Amendment. The new proposals to restrict gun ownership would further infringe on the rights that have been clearly and repeatedly established. And Sheriff Myers, I would actually go one step further. I believe that Article 1, Section 24, which says that your right to keep and bear arms shall not be impaired in any way, shape, or form, is actually more protective than the federal counterpart. Sheriff Myers concludes his letter as follows. Like the citizens of Washington State who elected us, we, too, are concerned with the troubling growth of violent crime. The most effective path to addressing the root of the problem lies in addressing misguided desire to take human lives. We want to find ways to reduce crime and protect life and property. We believe that a greater focus on dealing with offenders, especially repeat offenders, is the approach we need to take. But this effort should not involve a weakening of the rights of all citizens in the process. The rise in violent crime that so concerns citizens has happened even as regulations and restrictions on firearm ownership have grown. Of course, this is because the people who commit violent crimes simply don't concern themselves with obeying rules about guns. The people impacted by restrictions to constitutional rights are those who obey the laws in the first place, the people who we know aren't the problem. We know violent crime is a complex problem with many serious sources, but narrow solutions that diminish the rights of law-abiding people aren't the right solution. The Washington State Sheriff's Association is committed to working with Governor Inslee and state legislators to strengthen our criminal justice system and reduce violent crime. To do so is essential to our mission, but our mission also involves safeguarding of rights. We view both as central to what we represent. Signed, Sheriff Clay Myers. And Sheriff, again, kudos. That letter absolutely encapsulates all of the frustration that every single Washington gun owner has with this proposed legislation. And let us consider the source here. These are the very individuals who every day put their lives on the line to keep your community safe. These are the very individuals who understand what causes crime and understands what prevents crime. Okay, and they were not behind the magazine ban. There was not a single law enforcement agency, not a single law enforcement officer that signed on to the magazine ban. And you will see the same thing with both the proposed assault weapon ban as well as the pre-purchasing licensing. Will our governor, will our attorney general, the two chief executive law enforcement officers in the state actually pay any attention to what those who truly know what's going on? Time will tell. In the meantime, if you have any questions about this or anything else related to your Second Amendment rights, you guys know the drill. You can always contact us at WashingtonGunLaw.com, or of course you can call us directly at 425-765-0487. Now, in the meantime, let's remember, part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here at Washington Gun Law, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.